What's up, friends? My name is Lexis. I am a certified personal trainer and have been training and working with clients for over 10 years. Today, we are going to talk about weight fluctuation. This video is for you if you tend to struggle with stepping on the scale every day with concern around what the number is going to be. If you are checking your weigh-ins every single day, multiple times per day even, and you're worried about it going up or down or in the direction that you don't want it to go, then this video is for you. So we are going to weigh ourselves nearly every single hour and show you just how normal weight fluctuation is. We're also going to have Bryan coming along on this journey as well. But before we do that, let's talk about what causes weight fluctuation. There are so many different things that causes weight fluctuation, and not only for your weight to fluctuate from day to day, but for your weight to fluctuate from hour to hour. There are the obvious things like if you just ate, you're gonna weigh more. If you just drank anything, you're going to weigh more. If you just exercised, your muscles will be inflamed. If you're lifting, that can cause your weight to go up. But if you just did a bunch of endurance work and you sweat a ton, you'll also have less water from sweating. So that can cause your weight to go down. There is sodium intake that increases how much water you hold on to. There is also your carb intake, which your carb intake also causes you to hold on to water. Even things like flying can cause you to hold on to water weight. Even things like traveling from one place to another can cause your weight to be different. Literally, you might weigh different in Colorado than you do in New England, in New York City. Literally just because your weight and the gravitational pull is different in different places of the world. So there are lots of things that can cause your weight to change. And my goal here with this video is to hopefully help you not obsess with the scale. It is not healthy. It causes people to fail on their journeys. There are so many things that causes weight fluctuation. So it's actually normal for your weight to fluctuate anywhere from 2 to 7 pounds per day. That is considered completely normal. And I've done this video in the past, 5 years ago, but this time I wanted to do it again and bring Bryan along on the journey. All right, so let's get into it. We are going to start with my weigh-ins first. Starting at 8:30 in the morning, I weighed in at 163.5 pounds. And I was actually low-key, I kind of forgot that we were doing this. So I was already up for an hour and a half working at the computer. So my second weigh-in was at 10:30 a.m. and I had just woken up from a nap, drink coffee, and also drink some water. I was down from 163.5 to 160.8. My next weigh-in was at noon and I was up again to 161.4 pounds. And I had been sitting since 10:30 in the morning doing virtual personal training sessions. So basically the whole time I was just sitting here in the office working. At 1 p.m. I ate breakfast. It was a late breakfast. So I had some protein oats and then I did some coaching work on the computer before I went into my next session. And then at 2 p.m. I had another hour session. I weighed in at 163.5 again. Not much had changed other than I had eaten and then just sat down again. At 3 p.m. I weighed in at 161.3 and I had been cleaning the house. I had had a little snack. At 4 p.m. I was still cleaning the house and I had had lunch. And I weighed in at 162.3. At 6 p.m. I weighed in at 165.1 and we had just gotten back from the gym. So when you train, you're also going to have a little bit of that inflammation, and inflammation causes the scale to go up. So that is completely normal to see that. Now at 8:30, I weighed in at 165.7 and I had been sitting at the computer. I had eaten at the computer and continued doing coaching work until 11 p.m. And at 11 p.m. I weighed in again at 165.7. So I'm maintaining the same weight and was still working at my computer. At midnight, I weighed in and I had just had dinner. This was my highest weigh-in at 167.5 pounds. It's normal to weigh more after dinner. And then I weighed myself again the very next morning just to really show you what a full 24 hours plus can look like, how it can go up and down and up and down. Because like I said, I weighed in 167.5 at midnight, but now again at 10:30 a.m., More than 24 hours later, I was back down to 163.9 pounds. And just as a reminder, the first weigh-in from the previous day at 8:30 a.m. was 163.5 pounds. So in reality, my weight does fluctuate nearly 7 pounds within a whole day. Your weight is going to fluctuate on that day-to-day basis. It might be 1 to 2 pounds heavier the next day. I did weigh myself at 10:30 a.m. a full 24 hours, and I was actually 160.8 pounds. So technically, I came in 3 pounds higher if I was doing it at the exact same time every day. And this is completely normal. These are not things to stress about. These are not things to worry about at all. Now we're gonna do Bryan's next. Now his weigh-in was right after he woke up. Now his weigh-in was 189.6 pounds. This was him just waking up before the bathroom. At 10:30 a.m., he weighed himself again. He was 189.6 pounds again. And he had drank water, ate cereal and a banana, and sat for an hour-long session. So he had eaten food, drank water, and he was still the same weight 2 hours later. Now he weighed himself again at noon, and this was his lowest weigh-in at 188.6 pounds. He had just gone to the bathroom, and he also finished sitting down for another hour-long session. At 1 p.m., an hour later, he weighed in a couple pounds heavier at 190.5 pounds, and he had had more sessions. So he was still sitting. Now at 2 p.m., he weighed in pretty much the same at 190.6 pounds, sitting down, and he was getting work done. So not much weight fluctuation is happening here for him. Now at 3 p.m., he weighed in at 193.5 pounds. He had had a small snack, he had coffee, and he was walking around. And at 4 p.m., he weighed in at 193.5 pounds again. By this point, he was actually standing and outside, moving around, working on the van, doing woodworking essentially. At 6 p.m., he weighed the same again, so still no weight fluctuation. He weighed in at 193.5. We had just gotten back from the gym, and he had not eaten lunch yet. At 8:30 p.m. was his next weigh-in at 192.6, and he was outside still working on the van. 11 p.m. he weighed in at 193.1, and he had still not eaten anything yet at this point. At midnight, this is when he has his highest weigh-in, and this was just after eating dinner or lunch or whatever, or his combo of lunch and dinner. And it was 194.9 pounds. And his final weigh-in, I actually don't have it written down, so you're gonna see it on the screen. This was his final weigh-in right here. And this was at 10:30 a.m., more than 24 hours of doing our first weigh-in. So that is what our weight fluctuation looked like throughout a single day. Now just imagine throughout a single series of days, not a single series, that doesn't make any sense. Now imagine what that would be like for a series of days. Weight fluctuation is bound to happen. It is completely normal. It is nothing to stress about. Don't let it deter you. It is simply just a tool. Some people fluctuate a lot, some people don't fluctuate a lot. It really depends from person to person, and it does change with age. It does change as you enter different phases of life. It changes with stress. It changes with so many different things, with your habits. So just keep that in mind. If you notice that you are obsessing with the scale, put the scale away. Or maybe you don't use the scale. You can use other forms of measurement like circumference measurements, progress pictures. So hopefully I convinced you to stop stressing so much around the scale, but it is normal. I would step on the scale hourly. I would step on the scale knowing it was gonna be higher after eating, and I would self-sabotage, and I don't want you to self-sabotage. Another thing that causes weight fluctuation that I didn't even get into earlier was that when you lose fat, your fat cells, before the fat cell actually shrinks, they fill up with water, and that weighs more than fat. So you're actually going to see that fat loss causes temporary water gain, and it's temporary. It is temporary, and that is why you can't stress so heavily about the scale. It is something to use as a tool, focus on showing up and just having full faith at least if you're with a coach, having full faith that the plan is going to work and that they are going to make sure that you are in the right shoes. Do not stress. It is just part of the process. So I hope I convinced you not to freak out about the scale. The scale is helpful, it is a tool, but it is going to also fluctuate. If you guys are interested in one-on-one coaching, Bryan and I both are taking on clients. You can head over to flexclub.fit. Check us out, apply for coaching, and we'll schedule a coaching call to see if we're a good fit. All right, friends, I will see you in the next video. Stay strong. Bye, friends.
Green light, let's get it. I'm the future, I'm in it. Check score, I'm winning.